on Friday, August 15, 2025. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin met for a highly anticipated summit at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska. This marked their first direct meeting since 2019 and Putin's first visit to American soil since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The summit was set against the backdrop of ongoing deadly conflict in Ukraine, which has claimed over 1 million lives, including many civilians, and triggered the largest humanitarian crisis in Europe since World War II. Putin was welcomed with unprecedented warmth. A ceremonial red carpet greeted him on the tarmac flanked by F-22 Raptor fighter jets. Trump and Putin appeared together, exchanged handshakes, and rode to the venue together in the presidential limousine. The Beast, inside a banner reading "Pursuing Peace," framed their grand arrival, signaling high ambitions but also underscoring the gravity of the continued violence in Ukraine. The talks, progress claimed, no deal made. The two presidents spent nearly 3 hours in closed-door discussions. Both later described the meeting as very productive and claimed agreement on many points, but admitted that several big ones remained unresolved. Trump emphasized, "There's no deal until there's a deal," and refrained from sharing specifics or taking questions. Putin called the discussions thorough and constructive, expressing hope for ongoing collaboration and urging Kyiv and European capitals to react constructively to any outcome. Despite the optimistic rhetoric, no formal agreement or ceasefire emerged. Fighting in Ukraine continued unabated, with air raid alerts and drone strikes reported even as negotiations took place in Alaska. Key issues and sticking points. The summit focused on achieving a ceasefire in Ukraine. Trump sought a rapid halt to hostilities, but did not secure any such commitment from Putin. Future negotiations, Trump insisted that Ukraine will decide any territorial concessions, distancing himself from negotiating away Ukrainian land. Territorial integrity and NATO ambitions. Putin likely pressed to secure Russia's territorial gains and block Ukraine's NATO path, while Trump attempted to reassure allies he wouldn't compromise Ukraine's position. Nuclear arms control. On the eve of the summit, Putin hinted at a new arms control accord, though it remains unclear if this was substantively discussed. Exclusions and international concerns. Notably, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy and European leaders were not included in the summit, raising fears in Kyiv and NATO capitals that their interests might be traded away. Zelenskyy published a video urging the U.S. to maintain a strong stance and rejected any territorial concessions to Moscow, while seeking firm security guarantees from the United States. Aftermath and next steps. The summit ended without the planned luncheon, and Putin departed Alaska immediately after a short media appearance. Trump announced he would brief NATO leaders and Zelenskyy directly. When Putin unexpectedly suggested next time in Moscow, Trump replied that it could possibly happen, acknowledging he might face backlash for such a decision. The U.S. delegation included Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, while Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and advisor Yuri Ushakov attended with Putin. Reactions and impact. Despite the lack of resolution, the summit restored Putin's international stature by breaking his isolation from Western leaders since the invasion of Ukraine. Trump faced criticism for hosting Putin so warmly and for not extracting any concrete promises, especially as the war raged on. The ambiguous outcomes left the path forward uncertain. No ceasefire, no peace deal, but the promise of continued diplomatic engagement. Key takeaways. No ceasefire or peace deal achieved. Both Trump and Putin claimed progress but withheld details. Ukrainian and European allies excluded from talks, raising concerns. Ongoing violence in Ukraine overshadowed negotiations. Potential for future meetings, including in Moscow, but no timetable set. The world will watch closely to see how Trump's outreach and continued negotiations translate into actual policy changes, or whether the war in Ukraine will grind on unresolved.